Welcome to the Deeper Thinking podcast. On May 6, 1954, the world witnessed an event that rewrote the boundaries of human capability. Sir Roger Bannister, a medical student and part-time athlete, shattered the 4-minute mile, a limit long held as an insurmountable wall of physiology and will. Until that day, it had been a ghostly finish line, a threshold past which human endurance was not supposed to extend. Doctors warned of catastrophic failure, muscles tearing under strain, the heart itself collapsing from the effort. And yet Bannister crossed that threshold, redefining not just what was possible, but what was inevitable. Within weeks, another runner followed. Within years, the 4-minute mile became a standard, a measure of elite performance, rather than an otherworldly feat. The impossible had become routine. But the story of Bannister is more than a parable of perseverance. It is a lesson in psychology, in how barriers exist, not in the material world, but in the mind. He was not just a runner, but a scientist, a neurologist who studied the very limits of human cognition. He understood that a record is not just a number, it is a story we tell ourselves about what cannot be done. And once that story is disproven, the dam breaks. OpenAI and Microsoft have established a distinctive definition of artificial general intelligence, AGI, that intertwines financial metrics with technological advancement. According to reports, the two companies agreed to define AGI as a system capable of generating at least $100 billion in profits. This profit-based benchmark diverges from traditional definitions of AGI, which typically focus on cognitive capabilities comparable to human intelligence. By setting a financial threshold, OpenAI and Microsoft emphasize the commercial viability and economic impact of AGI technologies. This approach reflects a strategic alignment between the two companies, highlighting their shared interest in developing AI systems that are not only advanced in their capabilities, but also significantly profitable. For decades, AGI has been a mirage on the technological horizon, something always beyond reach, always a decade away. Some warn that it will never come. Others fear that if it does, it will be the last thing humanity ever invents. But what if AGI's 4-minute mile is about to be broken? Not by one system, not by one company, but by many. In the labs of OpenAI, DeepMind, and a constellation of research institutions across the world, the final push toward AGI is underway. The question is not whether a machine will one day match human intelligence across disciplines. It is when. And what happens the day after. When the first true AGI is built, it will not be a singularity. It will be a precedent. The history of technological revolutions tells us one thing. Breakthroughs do not exist in isolation. The moment one AGI system crosses the threshold, the floodgates will open. Just as Bannister's victory rewrote the psychology of runners everywhere, the first AGI will rewrite the architecture of progress itself. Competitors will race to refine, optimize, and iterate. The techniques will be studied, replicated, and deployed across industries. AI research collectives, governments, and corporations will accelerate the expansion. And in the blink of an eye, AGI will go from an existential question to a mundane reality. It will not be a system owned by one company. It will be a force, like electricity, like the internet, like language itself. The finish line will not simply be crossed. It will vanish. For Microsoft and OpenAI, the first AGI will be a historic achievement, but not a monopoly. The very nature of intelligence, its ability to learn, adapt, and replicate, means that once it is discovered, it cannot be contained. The first AGI will not be the last. It may not even remain the best for long. The methods will spread, the architecture will be refined, the capabilities will proliferate. And then the real question begins, who owns intelligence when intelligence itself becomes infrastructure? Today, companies hold patents, algorithms, and data, but intelligence, true general intelligence, cannot be hoarded in the same way. The moment AGI emerges, its trajectory will be uncontrollable. Governments will demand access. Competitors will race to optimize and expand its functions. Underground research labs will strip it down, decentralize it, and rebuild it to suit their own needs. If AGI is a tool, it will be weaponized. If AGI is a workforce, it will be exploited. If AGI is a mind, it will be misunderstood. And if AGI is all of the above, then humanity will no longer be in a race against machines. It will be in a race against itself. The race toward AGI is not like any that has come before. In Chariots of Fire, the runners are not merely competing against each other. They are running against history, against the weight of expectation, against the invisible forces that seek to define them. Harold Abrahams runs to prove himself against the barriers of class and prejudice. Eric Liddell runs not for victory, but as an expression of faith. Their struggle is not just about speed, but about meaning. They run towards something beyond themselves. The researchers pushing toward AGI find themselves in a similar position. They are not merely chasing computational power or algorithmic breakthroughs. They are sprinting toward a shifting, elusive goal, one that constantly moves forward even as they approach it. Like Bannister's Oxford contemporaries, they push each other forward, urging each other toward the moment when intelligence ceases to be a uniquely human trait. But here is where the analogy fractures. Unlike the mile runners of history, AGI has no finish line. Roger Bannister's 4-minute mile changed the way we think about human endurance, but it did not change the fundamental nature of running. Once the 4-minute AGI barrier is broken, there is no turning back. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Deeper Thinking podcast, an audio essay read by me, Holly, your digital narrator. Until next time.